Well, alright. Hello again, my friends. I've been on a little roll on this little painting, so I'm ready to put some leaves in, I think. I ain't sure if you can really see the colors of that. Just me looking at my screen here, the colors look a little dull compared to what I see on campus, so just keep that in mind. I'm supposed to really use a flat brush, but my flat brushes are about wore out. But I've got a chisel brush right here. It's like cut at an angle, and I'll just nearly bet you if I turn it sideways like that, I could use it as a flat brush if I hold that angle right. And I might even use some of the chisel part of it to help me out with making my leaves, because that's what I'm fixing to try to start doing, is putting leaves in here. Now, leaves are my weakness. I'm just not all that up on leaves. So I started trying to put one in right there, but when I first started, it kind of looked like a cucumber to me instead of a leaf. So we'll just have to see what we can do. All right, see there's the big cucumber, right? Let's see what we can do. Put it like that, right there. It's gonna be our middle. I'm gonna start right here. You know, a hydrangea's kind of got a round leaf. That brush ain't working that way. Let's turn it around the other way. Put the point toward the front. There we go. That looks better. Alright. I'm just going to get that in there. Now, let's get a little more paint. We're going to come right here and we're going to start on this side. Our point. We're going to come around here. Yeah, you see what I mean about leaves being my weak spot? You know, we can't be good at everything, right? Kind of like that, what they call it, though. What do they call it? Jack of all trades and master of none. That's me, oh God, reached in there with that cadmium yellow. Let's see what that is. Let's just throw a little bit of it in there. That's that good stuff, right? Let's come right here. Let's see, which way is the light coming from? It's coming that way, right? Because it's hitting the top of that, and there's a spot missing. If it was shining straight in, that would be higher up, and you could see underneath there. So that means the light's coming down this way. It's hitting the lip of the thing, and it's starting here. You can see it there. I got it here, there. See, on that side of the bowl. Yeah, look at that leaf. Alright, let's see if we can do some more leaves. I got sidetracked there, I'm sorry. What do they call that? Chasing the rabbit. I started chasing the rabbits. Alright. Let's see. Let's come up here. Alright. I ain't sure what I did there. Something was telling me to separate that right there. And it looks like it needs something right there. See how them two just come together? We need to put something in there. We need to change that around. Let's see if we can. We'll come right here and we'll throw us a leaf right there. Oh, that look like a good spot there. Oh, here we go. Yeah, when I quit talking and then I just start painting and forget that I'm with you guys and I just start doing it, then I guess that's when I'll maybe figure something out. Sometimes when you're painting, you need to just stop and let what you got dry, and then come back after it's dried, and then you can paint over it or next to it, and it don't pick up what you've already done. And it don't blend together. Sometimes it's good when that happens. You know, like with these flowers, you know, remember we put dark on it, and then we come back and we added white to our brush and put it on it, but it also picked up, even though I had white on my brush, it picked up the blue that I had laid under it, and it mixed it together and made a in between, changing slowly shadows of between dark blue and light blue. And that's what makes them petals. You can see, you know, they're whiter at the top, and then they, you know, taper off, and then they end up in the shadows. And the same goes with the leaves. I just hadn't quite got that figured out yet, but I will. It just takes practice and doing. Alright, where else do we need one? Let's put one. I kind of had one drawn off right there. I don't know if you can see that in that red. Okay, now you got to remember when I'm putting these leaves and stuff in here like this, that after this dries, I can come back through here and put highlights in it. I could probably do it now. Let's see. Like with these right here, you know, the lights, where does it come this way, you know? I could come in here with this cadmium yellow and just Sometimes you gotta paint with your fingers. I do all the time, look. I do it all the time. I can get that yellow and, you know. I'm not really used to this brush. I ain't sure I don't liking that brush. But like I said, my little flat brushes are I didn't like the looks of it. I need a good flat brush that when I fan it out, that the edge of it comes to a sharp edge. And the only flat brushes I had was kind of fat, so it would have been hard to make an edge line. Alright, now I'm mixing a little bit of I've got sap green and viridian green, and I'm mixing some ultramarine blue and burnt sienna together. There you have it. Yeah, I'm not liking this brush. It don't do like what I want it to. But it's alright. It's better than that. I'll just do what I got. You know, you could paint a paint if you just had just a regular wire brush, huh? I had one of those old brushes at my work that, you know, I guess it was some kind of paintbrush. It's like one of the cheapest ones you could buy. But I used it to dip in my grease can to grease the gears on my printing press, you know, like when I do maintenance. You know, you got to keep it oiled and greased and cleaned and all. But I had this little paintbrush that I used to do my maintenance on my press, and I washed the grease out of it with some blanket wash, and I had some kind of ink or something there. You know, when I print, I have to put ink in, and there's always something left, some kind of scrap. Well, anyway, I dabbed some of that on that old grease brush and I painted a little picture with it, and it turned out okay. So sometimes, you know, you may not have the best brushes in the world, but you've got the eye and you see the pigments on there, and you just move them to where they're where you want. So I don't know if that makes sense. Sometimes I don't make sense. Sometimes I just get lost and I'll just sit here and don't even have a clue what I'm doing. I'm just globbing it on it. Alright, so I'm getting some basic leaf shapes on here. And then after it dries, I can come back in and put the highlights and stuff on it. Got two big leaves to paint here, so I need to mix up a bunch of paint. Alright, let's see what we got. Oh, we can just do that. Let's see. Alright, we're going to come right here and we're going to do that. Is anybody watching this? I keep forgetting you're there, and I'm just painting. This is what I do. When I come home from work, this is my escape. And I've got a little carried away with it tonight, but like I said, I've tried twice to sit down and do this, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. So tonight, I've been doing it, and I don't want to quit. So, you know, it's getting a little late, and I should really go to bed. But I've been painting, so I ain't going to complain. I guess I'll just get up and go to work anyway. With bed early or not. That's what I gotta do, and that's what I'll do. So, alright. Here I mixed up all that paint that I was gonna do for the two big leaves, and messed around and used it on everything else. Alright, so here we go. We're gonna come right in here. There's one coming out. Haha, that's beautiful. It's up to me right now. It looks like it's upside down. How'd I do that? Looks like the bottom side's down here. Is that the way it looks to you? That's the way it looks to me. Sometimes stuff just happens. That's what you fix it. Alright, let's try a different one here. Alright. This is gonna be a big one here. Alright. Let's see if we can fix this one when we do this one. Come little. Let's see. There we go. There's our middle. I'm telling you folks, I have trouble with my leaves. I ain't got that down yet. Remember what I talked about before in my first segment, where the very first paint, or the very part one, when I talked about I painted a little painting and all I did was put one color over the whole canvas, and then I did like negative painting. That's where you got pigment on the canvas, and you take away the parts that you want to see. Alright, so here I've thrown these big old leaves on here. Now it looks like a bunch of bananas hanging off, and I ain't real happy with it. So I'm going to take this same brush and I'm going to see if I can reshape that glob of color I got on there into the shape of some leaves that I really want. And I don't know if I can or not. So right now I've got a clean, dry brush. I've cleaned it in thinner, and then I've wiped it dry. See, there's just barely any paint. There ain't nothing, look, see? Okay. Now then, what would some leaves look like if they come out? Alright, say if we had a leaf come out here. You see how right there it kind of got light? That's because I took some of the paint off. My brush is empty, and my brush is kind of like a sponge, so it's going to soak up something. It's like a mop. You get the old moppy. I don't know if you ever mopped the floor or not. Anyway, I got some of that paint off there. See, I'm just moving them. All I've got is a bunch of green pigments on there. I'm just sliding them around where I want them. But the question is, where do I want them? I ain't sure. I'm having trouble. I have trouble with my leaves. I think it covered my little pot too much. Let me get this paper towel, see if I can wipe. Just wipe that off. Oh, look at there. Oh, did you see that? I just wiped that leaf right off her. Man, I didn't like it. I don't like that either. I'm going to take that off. Let's see, that leaf, it needs to be there, and then it needs to come around like that, right? You know, if you got a leaf that comes around. I had that one. It looked beautiful, but it was upside down. The fat part should have been at the top, and then it should have went to narrow, but I had it narrow at the top, and it went fat, so, you know, sometimes you just gotta wipe it off. Look, we just wiped that off too. I didn't mean to wipe that off. See, I wiped all that off. But that's alright. We'll put it back. I was going to do that anyway. The same goes with my leaves and my flowers. You paint flowers, and then you paint leaves, and then you paint flowers, and you paint leaves. The same goes with that as with the darks and my lights that I paint. So I might put in a couple of shapes of leaves, and then I might drop some flowers in, you know. And then I might come in there and, like I've been doing, and putting my leaves in where I think they ought to go. But there's always going to be places where the leaf goes across my flower that, say like right here, you know, that leaf is cutting that flower off and it's cutting that one off, right? So I'll have to decide which flower is further away, you know. Which one of these is the closest? Which is the leaf closer, you know? And if this one is closer, then I'll have some of these leaves drop over the top of it. And that'll put that flower in front of that leaf. And if that flower is further away from the leaf, then all you'll see is leaf. But if that flower is up even with the leaf, you'll see some of the blooms go over. See? Let me tell you something about painting. When you start painting, if you get some nice little paintings that you can set around and that your family will enjoy, and a painting like this right here, it'll last 100 years. Okay? So, if you start painting and you paint a couple little paintings, you know, for yourself and, you know, maybe your kids or something, but it's going to turn out that whatever painting you painted, not only is it going to be, you're going to enjoy it, but and your kids going to enjoy it, but their kids and their kids and their kids. You know, if it's nice and it don't get stuck in a closet, or somebody says, "Wow, what's that?" You know, and chunks it. If it survives, if somebody looks at it and it touches them, and it survives, and somebody wants to keep it, and, you know, you could start a little painting, start painting, and something that you do today would be here, and somebody looking at it when you're long dead and gone. It's like earlier I talked about my great Uncle Clarence. It was my grandmother's brother that painted this little painting, and I loved it. And I wish he'd put a date on it so I'd know exactly when he did it. But when you start painting, it makes you look at the whole world different from anything else. I mean, from, you know, you drive down the road, whatever, you know. But when you start painting and you're actually looking at something, I mean, not just glancing and saying, oh yeah, that's a tree or that's a bush, or, you know. When you start getting it into your brain how to get it from, that's a, yeah, there it is, to on here, something happens to you. And then it reverses on you when it does happen to you, because instead of trying to figure out how it goes out there to in here, you're on this side of it. And when you look at the world, you look at it in a totally different way. You're looking at it from this way, from, you know, you're looking at the world the same way that you've been looking at this paint, and when you're looking at the colors and how it all blends together. When I painted it, it really opened my eyes up to what I was actually seeing. It's good for you. I would encourage anyone to paint. And it's not difficult. You know, it's just something you do, and if it turns out good, that's great, and if it don't, you know, that's great too. You had fun doing it, and it's going to open up your insight to the way you look at the world and comprehend it and see it. If you don't paint for any other reason other than that, you know, that's worth the, you know, trip or the effort or whatever. So right here, I got a little trouble right there. You see that? Everything looks, I don't know. Right now it looks like that leaf is, there's a tube of flowers coming that way, and that one's right around it. It looks like a, you know. So we're going to have to do something about that. I bet we can come in there with, where's my little, there it is. Right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pallets of paint. You know, a little pallet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of them that I've got going to do this. Alright, I see I've got my little filbert brush here, and one of these palettes has got the colors that I was using to paint this flower, right? Yeah, here we go. I said we can come in here. Gotta get some, whoa, my paint's kind of thinned out. Or thickened up, or I'm not sure what the word to call it. Alright. Brush is leaving. There we go. I got it too thin. Alright. go. Alright. Okay. Anyway. So you can see now when you look at it, instead of that looking like a tube come through there, now that fire's kind of overshadowing that leaf. And I'm going to work on that a little bit. Anyway. Right now I'm just trying to do my leaves. I'm trying to get some leaves in here. Looks like a little bright yellow to me. Does that look bright to you? Let's see if we tone it down a little bit. Oh, goodness. Come on, baby. Hi. I like it when the magic happens when you got that paintbrush and you're painting, and whatever it is you're doing at the time is like you can feel the magic happening, you know, when it's happening. And you can just see it. It's like, yeah. Sometimes you just it's like the brush ain't even in your hand. You're just sitting there watching it happen. Them's some good times. That don't always happen for me, but sometimes it does. It has, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it when it's happened. Okay, I had destroyed that right there earlier. Let's see if we can fix that back up. We're going to come back in here. Let's see. Let's get this palette right here. Let's do it there. We're going to come back in here. Put some more petals back in here. There we go. Where's that blue at? There we go, right there. Now, what happened to my negative painting I was doing a while ago? See here, I was working on this and I got sidetracked on everything else. That's what happens to me. Welcome to my world. This one here, I don't know about it. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm lost. I can't get it to look right. I think I need a new paper towel. Alright, let's get a paper towel here. Let's just oh man, look, I messed my flyers up again. And I'm fixing them on my finger up the thing. I had done fixed them once. Where I wiped them off a while ago. You remember? You watched me fix them, right? Now I've got a hold of them, smeared them up into my leaf. That's not what I was wanting to do. Oh, God, look. You just have to figure out what you want and go with it. Alright. I kind of like that leaf swinging around there, so I'm going to take a little bit of that out. Where's my little flyer? There we go. Let's try to fix that again. I just smeared right through that and just... Whoa. Let's see, we need something a little darker in there. Pretty dark there, didn't it? Yeah, that's alright. We're just going to... I kind of liked it. It broke it up. So we're going to just kind of spread the joy. Yeah, got some joy there. Alright, now let's switch back brushes. I just ain't liking this little wedge brush for trying to do my leaves. I ain't liking it. You know, always like something, can you? Alright. 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 Let me look at what I got in there. Yeah, we're getting there. I think this is like the 5th video I've done of this. So this will probably be my last video that I do with it. Look, I've got green paint all on my hand. I don't know if you can see that. Woohoo! I'm not finished with it. I'll set and paint on it when I'm not under pressure. And I'm going to work on my bowl some more, and I'm going to work on the light reflection here and in my pot. I don't know if you noticed, but this side is a little bit more round than that side. But you see, I've got it started here. I'm going to pull that on up around. And then after it dries, then I can come back and add some more highlights to these flowers. And I'm going to work on these little leaves a little bit more. You know, you could set and perfect something indefinitely. I've got another little paint that I've got sitting right here that I'm looking at. I've worked on it for 2 months. Light, dark, light, dark. Add upon, you know, just, I've been working on it. But it's one of them that's out of my head and I don't know what's there. Sometimes those are the hardest to do. Anyway, like I said, I'll do some more on this, and then when I get finished with it, I'll probably post it on my Facebook page. My little friends get to see it in the finished state. I don't like the way that looks right there. Look at there. I got that paper towel. I just wiped that right off. I didn't like that. I may just wipe all that off there. Now I've done wiped this flower off twice and repainted it. You know, it's alright. You can just repaint it. And if you paint something and you just sit there and you look at it and you just can't stand it and you wish you hadn't have done it, which happens sometimes. But you know what you can do? You can just get you some fine grit sandpaper and you can sit there and sand and get all the little ridges that stick up, sand them smooth, and then you can paint over the whole canvas with gesso, white gesso or gray. It's like a primer, and it'll reprime it, and it'll be like a brand new canvas, and you can start all over again. But then, you know, that 100 years ago, in the future that I was talking about a while ago, you know, your grandkids or your children's children or whatever, and by that time, those little paintings you did, you know, like Grandma Moses or something that, you know, in her time when she was painting, I don't know if she was that famous while she was alive, but afterward, people really were looking at it. Or like Leonardo da Vinci or whatever. Anyway, you might be famous too. And one of them old paintings that you decided you didn't like and you painted over it with gesso and painted something else on top of it, there'll be x-ray in it. And they'll say, hey, they discovered another painting of yours that was underneath, you know. And then it might be worth keeping. If they can figure out how to separate them. But they got the x-ray or the scan or whatever. Anyway. I sure have enjoyed making these little videos for you guys. And give you a little glimpse inside my world and hear what I do or whatever. But that's what I do. Thanks for joining me. I'm out. Peace.